so the last video, you guys, we made the top, both top hinges. Got the bottom one done. This is the other bottom one now. Finishing up the other bracket for it. And then we'll be putting them on and hopefully they fit right.
Our backs are screaming.
Alright, we gotta drill some holes. Alright, so we got all the hinges made. Taking the old ones off. Putting the new ones on.
Taking the boat anchors off. So we got all our hinges made. One eternity later, but we got them made.
Alright.
You gotta try to get in there though, because the cage is in the way.
Well, not even if the cage wasn't there, it's like behind the dash, so.
We got this one on.
Try to maybe get.
You want me to tell them how much these weighed? Want to see how much?
I won't tell them how much.
Yeah.
We take them all apart.
We'll take them all off. I'm gonna weigh the metal ones and see them. I mean, when we were weighing them, you put them on the scale. The pieces by themselves, they're about a third less.
Right.
So they're a third of the weight when you weigh them. So it should be a lot. But, you know, we know it's at least a couple of pounds.
I need you to help me get in there.
All right. Could go up just a hair.
It's right there.
Okay, let me look on the inside. I mean, that's just the way that the door flexes, but it's fiberglass, remember. Okay. Our hinges are in. And then we're also going to be taking the door panels off. These things weigh about 4 pounds each that we just found out. So they are going to get replaced with a carbon sheet. Then we might even drill a little bit out of the fiberglass. We got a goal we got to hit here. It's going on a diet again. Not that it's much left, it's skin and bones, but you gotta move it just a little bit.
No, I gotta tighten it now.
Oh, well. Alright, now we gotta try to I gotta take the other door off and put them hinges on it.
Alright, so we got the other door back on. Everything's back on. Everything works fine. Beautiful. Shuts perfect. So, decided to put carbon fiber door panels on. So we took these door panels off. I got some extra moldings. We're going to put them on Josh's car. Basically the same thing. Carbon fiber ones are coming for this. Got everything out of the trunk. Got the battery showed up. Right? Full spectrum. 1250 cranking amps. We got this stuff. Alright. HCR. Got the button here. So that's going to be a remote. You shut it off from inside the car, and then it comes with this other little button here. Got that wired in there. Looks like that. Got that all rewired. Got the seat out here. We put the mount for that remote start here, remote kill switch. And we're waiting on the bracket for the battery. I'm gonna mount that to the floor. Got all the wires all nice and tucked back in. And that's it. I rewired some of these cables and stuff, shortened them up. These are the wires coming from the back. Have them all tucked away nice. When that's done, that's it. So we got the hood. Got the hood done. Josh is playing with that. So that battery's the one that came out. Still waiting on the blower. And I'm waiting on clutch stuff. I'm not sure if we're going to do that yet, but we're going to get the parts ready. So as of right now, we're good. Cold as all get out, but we're good. This is the battery charger for it. Right? So you guys are looking for a deal, go to his website, HCR Innovations. Go on Facebook, go to his website. This stuff, probably, I want to say, I'll figure it out exactly, but I want to say it was like almost $300 cheaper getting it through him. So, go check him out, Devin Vanderhook. All right, waiting on the bracket, and then we'll put that in. All right. Oh yeah, that looks good.
Way better. And now I did that one too on that side, so I gotta mount the fire bottle. I'll do that now actually. Got that side going.
You go. So we got the wrapper off. We got the panels showed up. Carbon fiber panels. 38 thousandths thick. So I just gotta cut. I brought them over to Dutra. They come 19 by 48. So we got these from Summit, and really nice. They come packaged like this with the cardboard. So we ordered 2 of them. So I brought them over to Dutra, and he sheared them to the right size. And all I got to do now is I'm just going to trim the edge. I already got this one mounted. That's what it looks like. Nice, clean. Used all the original molding. Put 2 screws back in it. So all I got to do is cut this little zit right there and a little zit on the bottom, just to make it look clean. So they're not rattling around or nothing. They're nice. Now I'll get the other side done. So all I gotta do is cut this one, and believe it or not, just use a cutoff wheel, and comes right off. So just gonna go put this one on there and mark it with the marker and cut it. Okay, so we're just gonna trim this back. Basically like cutting paper. All right, I'll go put it on. All right, so I got this part in the video. I don't know what happened to it. I must have deleted it by accident or something. So we lost that part of the video. I'm gonna explain to you what's going on next. So when we're at the track, basically with the clutch, the way the clutch was, it's a single disc 10-inch clutch. So the consensus is, so when we would check the data, if we tried to leave harder, so we were trying to leave harder with the car to try to get the 60 foot down. And if we tried to leave too hard, the car would blow the tires off. So a way to explain that is, think about a car with an automatic has a torque converter in it. Torque converter slips a little bit to let the car move, or else it'd be direct drive. So if it's direct drive, something's got to give. It's just gonna bang the tire right off. Just break the tire off. So the data showed that just at about 5,000 RPM, the clutch was locked up 1-to-1, no slip. Under that, it was slipping, but it was really, like 90% locked up or 85% locked up. So I think we ended up at like 4,700 RPM. Leaving with 4,700 RPM, the car worked. And it worked good. The problem is if we try to get it to slip more by taking the weight off or backing off on the base pressure, then let's see how you explain it. So if it slips too much because you're taking weight off it, the weights that are on those little arms are they're centrifugal. So as the RPMs come up, the weights want to kick out, and the more weight you have, the more pressure it puts on the pressure plate, and it locks the clutch up. So you think about probably 1,500 horsepower, a single disc, that one disc will lock that motor up. I mean, it'll lock it up tight. So to make it slip so that you could get off the line better, you'd have to back off on the weights and the pressure on the base plate, on the base. But if we backed off, as soon as we backed off to a certain extent, because the car would make so much power after that, the clutch couldn't recover. So it would slip the whole way down the track. It couldn't, no matter how much weight we put on, it just wouldn't grab anymore. Because it was already in a slipping mode and it just wouldn't, it had no grab. So consensus was put a dual disc or a triple disc in it. So in a couple of videos back, we picked up a transmission, clutch, all that stuff for the new car that we're building. That one's a triple disc, so it's got 3 7-inch discs in it. So surface-wise, our car right now has a 10-inch disc, so it's 10 inches. It's 2 sides, but just let's say 10 inches. 3 7s is 21 surface area. So I was talking to Dan at Bonafante's, made a couple phone calls, spoke with Myron from the track, Rob, and everybody said the same thing. You need to put either a dual or a triple or do something different so that you have more surface area once the clutch starts slipping, and then to get it to recover, you need more surface area. So I didn't want to have to buy another bell housing because they're like $3,000. And then you'd have to move everything back. The bell housings they make, they're either like ours right now is 6, then you have an 8, and then an 8 5/8, which is real big cans. But now you're moving everything back, way back, by 2 and 3 inches, which not a big deal, but another $3,000 for a bell housing. So I asked Dan about making a dual 10, okay? So the dual 10 fits in the bell housing that I have. The problem was the clutch and all that fit, but I needed a little bit of space because I need the bearing to be able to push the clutch in. But it was only a 1/2 inch difference from the single to the dual, is only a 1/2 inch difference. So I waited for him to make the clutch up, measure it 1/2 inch, went to Dutra's, up to Fazio's, picked up a piece of aluminum, and then I started making a plate to space the transmission out space that out 1/2 inch to make up for that bell housing. To make up for the clutch section that's inside the bell housing now. So I was able to use the same bell housing, everything the same. I modified the collar for the bearing a little bit. You'll see that coming up in the video at the very end. But it worked. It worked. So that's what you're going to see now. So basically we have a 2-disc 10 but it's a low coefficient disc. So it's not 2 of the 10 aggressive ones that are in there now, because that would be like almost too much. The car don't make that much power. It would bog the motor right out. So they make a low coefficient, the loco they call them, discs. So 2 of those are in there now. So we're gonna try that. We put weights on it. We're guessing on how much weight and how much base pressure, about the same. So we're gonna start with that, but here's the rest of the video. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so we got the bell housing in here. And like I said, we gotta move it out. So a 1/2 inch. So we got the plate. I made a hole in the plate with a 4.5 inch hole saw to get it to close, right? And then I got this fixture that I used to use it in a drill press. So what I did was I took it's got a cutting blade on it. I tried cutting it with this and it just chattered. So I'm like, let me try something else. So I got a small actual bit that fit in there, and it actually works real good. So going down here, nice clean hole. I know it ain't the most conventional way of doing it, but damn, that's gonna work perfect. So now I can move this out until I get enough clearance. I gotta go to that line, and this needs to fit in here like that, but in that, and then that, we'll line that hole up, and then we're gonna bolt that plate to the bell housing and then trace it out or whatever we're doing, right? Make it the same size as the transmission. And then that'll be spaced out, and then the clutch will all fit in here, the bearing will all fit in here. I just talked to Mike over at Liberty. He's gonna send me a new input shaft, and we'll be able to, the input shaft, everything's just a 1/2 inch. So, right, 1/2 inch. But it is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna move that over and then try it again. And then I'm gonna lower this and make sure that thing fits in there. And we should be good. Okie dokie. Got that done. And that's gonna go on here. Just like that. Nice. Just gonna make sure that's centered. Gonna clamp it to it, and then we'll trim it all back. Trim all this back to where it's supposed to be. Match the transmission. We'll be good to go. Start making the holes in it. So basically it's gonna look like that, but like that. All right. Well, got all the machine work done, right? Then I countersunk the holes, tapped them. We're tapping them now. And they sit just like that, nice and flush. So we're using countersunk Allen head bolts, 3/8 course. So I got 6 of them in there. That'll hold plenty. And once I bolt it all down, I make sure they're all lined up, which as of right now, they all are. Looks good. I gotta finish tapping this one, tap that one. and then I can unbolt them all. I'm gonna bolt them all down, make sure everything stays straight, make sure this line don't move, which it's not moving at all right now. And then I'll take it off, put the plate on the transmission, and then outline it, and then bring it back in here and cut the plate. So I got to cut all the excess off. Okay. All right, I'm getting there. Got to trim off these spots, and then these spots. With all the holes, I test fitted it. So with this centered on the cone, those holes all fit perfect. Bolt sliding in and out, and then these will get tapped in. We just got to trim it all back. Should be good to go.
Show them what it looks like.
So I lightened it up.
Take a little bit more out of it.
Yep. And now I'm just making the edges smooth.
Clean it all up.
Just get it all smooth, and that's it. Beautiful.
Homemade spacer plate.
All right, there it is, finished product. Flush mounted on the inside. And hooked on. All clearance, ready to go. That's the new one. So now that'll have enough clearance in here, and we'll be good to go. Waiting on an input shaft. Once we put that in, I gotta take the tranny out of the car, undo the transmission, whatever, take it apart, put the input shaft in it. And then we'll mount everything in the car, put all this back on, and then should be good. Okay, so where are we at with the budget here? So we got the spacer made up, bolted the tranny back to him, put the bell housing on, put the tranny back in. So now you see in here, it basically moved back 1/2 inch. You still got a 1/4 inch in, because that thing needs to line up, right? But everything lines up. You see the bearing lines up perfect. All right, nice.
We're getting our longer input shaft now.
So the input shaft we got on order was going to be 1/2 inch longer, because that just barely goes in the hole. So that's going to be longer. The dry shaft, we don't even have to cut the dry shaft. The dry shaft's got plenty of play in it. We got plenty of travel up and down, and we got enough clearance. So we're good. So we're gonna take it back out, take all this back out. We gotta bleed this thing again. So I rebuilt this, we're gonna bleed that out. Pro Charger just showed up like 10 minutes ago. So we're gonna take all this apart. We're gonna put the new clutch, all that together in here, take the transmission out, take the input shaft out, line up the clutch, put that together, because now I need an input shaft. Because it's a dual disc, like before I just had this, but that just spun in there, it didn't matter, because it's just one disc as long as it lined up straight. This one, you got 2 splines, so both splines have to line up. So I'm gonna use the actual input shaft out of the tranny to do that. So he's taking a dry shaft out. We're gonna get this thing back together. We're gonna mount this in here and take the transmission out. We're getting there, we're getting there. Got locked in for 2 races so far, so we're going down to Georgia first. That's locked in. And then we got the invite. Whoop, there goes that. That don't matter, we're not using that one anyway.
I know.
And then we got an invite, and we locked in for Thunder Valley race in April. All right. All right, front end's back together. Put all that stuff back together. We're gonna pull the valve covers off, check the valves and all that, change the oil. Got the tranny out. I'm gonna take this input shaft out. Got a new one coming. A little bit longer. Should good to go. Alrighty. Alright. Everything taken apart. That's the input shaft. Got the little sensor in there. So the new one's only going to be a 1/2 inch longer than this one. Alright. Well, now we're going to put the rest of the clutch back together. I'm going to use this input shaft to line up the splines. We're ready to go. And when that shows up, the new one shows up, we'll slap all that back together, put it right in the car. Alright, so this is the collar, right, for the bearing. I mean, for the throttle bearing. So we had it on there. We tried it, and I marked it, and it was like right there, like that. All right, but we needed just a little more. We got to be able to get the tool in there to turn it. See how this got the slots in it? Mm-hmm. So we just machined that down just enough to get the tool in there, so we could turn it. Now we got plenty of clearance.
Okay.
That's it. All right. We got it in there. Got enough clearance now. Got enough throwout bearing clearance. We good to go. Waiting for the input shaft to come. Put the transmission back together, and we good. That's it. I'm gonna start slapping it all back together. We're ready to go. All right, so we got this bracket finally came in. Nice bracket, billet bracket for the battery. We're gonna mount it there. I got the holes mounted. I got the solenoid already mounted. This thing's pretty nice. It comes with recessed bolts. So I already made the bolts down there. That's gonna go like that. I'm gonna put the bolts in from the bottom, so they're button head bolts, so they're nice and flush with the bottom. And then we'll put the battery in. It comes with a strap across the top. You bolt that down on it. All right, and I got all my wires all made up. I'm gonna wire it all up. And input shaft should be here tomorrow. Can finish that up. Put that back together. I'm almost done. So I'm gonna finish wiring this, put this battery back together, and getting all this together. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished up. I already shortened all the wires up, put all the ends on everything. We changed over the alternator wire to a red wire, power wire to a red wire. We had them marked with red markers on them, but I'd rather be just red and black so we know we can't get mixed up. So shout out to Devin Vanderhook. All right, nice products they make. So this is from P-Motive Full Spectrum, but we bought everything through them. Go check them out. HCR Innovations. And then we're gonna hook up the kill switch here. I already ran the wires to the back. I'm gonna find a spot for the kill switch inside the car. Figure that out in a minute. Okay, got it all done. Got that all wired up. Battery's all mounted in place. Solenoid's mounted in place. Got the charger going. It's actually charged, but if you leave it stay on for another, I guess for an hour it's saying, and this green light will show up. It'll say that it's fully charged. All right, so now the other thing I gotta wait for is the input shaft, and then I need to mount this shut-off switch in the car. That goes to this wire. But once I put the tranny and everything back together, then I'll figure out where I'm gonna put it, because I gotta be able to reach it. And I wanna see where I can put it, where it won't be in my way, and I won't have to unhook it when I'm working on a transmission or something. So I'm gonna leave that for last. Don't know if I'm gonna put it up here or down here somewhere. Might end up there. We'll see. If I could reach from there down here somewhere with over the transmission and the shifter, then I'll put it down here. This way you can shut the car off from inside, positive stop, or the back with the little switch in the back. Okay, that's it. Waiting on the input shaft to put that back together. I got the front all back together in the meantime. All this is all back together. I got all my hoses all back together. All that's back together. I'm gonna take we got the EGT changed out. That last one on that side. Got that all done. I'm gonna pop the valve covers off, check the valves. Probably put a fresh set of plugs in it. Change the oil in the filter and we'll be ready to go. Okay, well, here we go. All right, got the new input shaft in here. Put this thing all back together. So, put it back in and make sure everything fits.
Dry shaft tunnel, because we moved everything back now. What'd you say it weighed? 13? Weighs 13 pounds?
So it was just touching here before, so I took enough of that off plus the 1/2 inch that we moved the thing back. So I'm gonna clean up the edge and go put it in. That's it. All right, got enough clearance now and nothing's gonna touch. Put that back together. Got the tranny in, all that fit perfect. Re-drilled the holes because remember everything went further up, so those mounts got drilled out. The spacer worked out good. See that in there? That worked out really nice. Gotta plug everything back in. Then I gotta figure out a spot to put this kill switch, and we're done. All right. Tunnels in. Dry shafts in. Everything fit nice. Got the weights all in there. Set the base pressure. Set the weights for the clutch. Got to put all the covers and everything back on. And then I can put the floor back on. Plug everything back in. Moving right along. All right, so we got everything back together. Got the floor back in it. Batteries all hooked up, ran the wire. So I made a new plate here for the switch. This turns on all the activation for the transmission. That, positive stop. So nice, I can reach it right there, no problem. So it shuts off in the back and you turn the power on from the back or the front. So that's all done. Got the battery charging again, making sure that's fully charged. Drain the oil, change the filter. I'm just gonna pull one rocker. I'm gonna pull both of them off. I'm gonna check all the rockers, fill it back up with oil, and we are ready to go. Front end's all ready to go. So the only thing I got left to do now is just check the valves, fill it back up with oil. Everything else is all done. So we ready to go. I'm gonna check once I'm done with that, I'm gonna unstrap the back and make sure the ride height stays the same. And if it's a little different, which we took a little bit of weight out of it, so we're probably gonna readjust that, make sure that the ride height is in the same place it was before. And we're done. So we will be, hopefully nothing happens, we will be at Georgia Motorsports Park running no time class, no time 275 again. We already locked in for that. And we'll see what it does. Everything should be tip top. I'll get Rob to just check the tune up on it again and make sure everything's cool. And make an adjustment for the boost again because we increased the boost a little bit. And we'll see what happens. All right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the next video, I should have some more information on some sponsorship. We'll let you in on that a little bit. And we are ready to go. So we're locked in for those 2 races. We're definitely going to Georgia Motorsports Park. And we're definitely going to Thunder Valley, North Carolina, Red Springs, North Carolina for a shootout. That was going to be pretty cool. So that was an invitational deal. We'll see how we make out with that. There's going to be a lot of fast cars there too. Georgia's going to have some stupid fast cars. Like stupid fast cars. Got all the guys from No Prep Kings are coming. They're all bringing their cars. These guys built some crazy ass cars, and now they're all bringing them out to regular racing, no time, small tire stuff. So, but it should be fun. Got a lot of people coming to that thing. So, if you're in Georgia Motorsports Park, the week of the 15th to the 22nd, I believe it is. But we're leaving on Sunday. We'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're going to try to get some testing in on Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. If we get there Tuesday, we'll probably test on Wednesday. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for everybody watching. We still got to give away a t-shirt. I know, I'm sorry, I've just a lot of things going on. But we'll pick somebody, we'll draw that drawing and see who gets the t-shirt. But if you're around down in South Georgia Motorsports Park, come and check us out. We'll have merch down there and you can pick up whatever you need. And we'd love to say hello to you guys. All right? Talk to you later.